And I got something else to say. 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 Down in Argentina. In Antarctica, it's cold outside in Antarctica. In Antarctica, it's cold outside in Antarctica. And I got something else to say. In Antarctica, it's cold outside in Antarctica.
Well, whether it's hot, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather we got. Wait a minute. Well, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather, whether or not. There it is.
Good morning, Prince George, and good afternoon, Winnipeg. You are now tuned into the Comedeorological Report. My name is Joey Onley. I am your host. Comedeorology, it's the science of how much the weather sucks in Canada. Comedy plus meteorology equals comedeorology. So, without much further ado, we got lots on the show this week. It's been really busy, and we're going to go quickly to Joe Stover right off the top of the show. He's at a Winnipeg Gold Eyes baseball game. Joe Stover, it's the seventh inning stretch. You're doing the Blue Jay dance.
What's going on, fellas? So it's 6-2 for the Gold Eyes. They're playing the Cleburne Railroaders. They're a team from Texas. They're having a bit of a tough time adjusting to the unseasonably cool weather here in Winnipeg. It's 9 degrees. Actually, it was 9 degrees at game time. It's let me just see if it's changed. It's down to about 7 degrees now. So anyway, it's nice and chilly, just how I like baseball. And yeah, I think it's supposed to get a little bit warmer starting tomorrow. Now that the rain and the gray should be moving away. Bit of a far cry from what we had in southern Manitoba a few days ago. As I was chatting with you guys, there were some supercells. I don't know if you want to call them supercells, but at least there was some severe thunderstorm activity, some funnel clouds, some hail in southwestern Manitoba when I was there, and I did as much chasing as I could, which was not much, as I was watching a movie with my dad. So once the movie was over, I went for a little ride and was able to see a little bit of some of those big cells that we saw, but they were far off in the distance and starting to throttle back. It's going to be nice down in southern Manitoba the next few days. Northern Manitoba, there was some winter storm warnings. There was something like 30 centimeters of snow in Tadouli Lake, which is 250 kilometers to the west of Churchill, a few days ago, and Churchill just finally dropped their rainfall warning. So it's been a very, very goofy May and beginning of June in both northern and southern Manitoba.
Well, Joe, enjoy your baseball game, and hopefully we can get back to you at the bottom of the ninth there and get an update as to the score. Joe Stover from
betcha. Go Gold Eyes, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Joe Stover from the How Do You Do review, also on CKUW 95.9 FM. You are hearing the show on CKUW 95.9 FM Monday at noon, and you're hearing us on C for 88.7 FM Saturday mornings, 10 a.m. Pacific local time. Also at 4 p.m. It repeats on Tuesdays. I'm Joey Only, your host, and we're here with the man himself, Frankie MacDonald, with all your world weather updates and news. Frankie MacDonald, how you doing so far?
I'm doing great so far. It's really, really cold outside in Sidney, Nova Scotia. It's really cold in Vancouver, British Columbia as well, because of Omega Block. There's another cut-off flow off in Newfoundland, off the coast of Newfoundland, another one in Manitoba, another one off the coast of British Columbia as well. There's 3 of them. Causing India, it's going to be higher than normal. Monsoon season this year is going to bring so much rain in India, causing a lot of severe weather all across central states and things like that. It's going to be above average monsoon season in America, southwestern United States. This year is going to bring a lot of rain all across southwestern United States. It's going to bring above average hurricanes in Gulf of Mexico, East Coast of the United States and Canada. In Ontario, it's going to get hurricanes in Michigan and all these places, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and all these places, even British Columbia. It's going to bring an earthquake in British Columbia sometime this year. Weather Bill 7 has predicted it. has did a video about the 2022 mega quake in October 2022. People in Vancouver, you can't escape from major earthquakes forever.
Excellent, Frankie. What about this heat that's in northern Canada right now? The hottest place in Canada is all in the Northern Territories.
It's unusual because it's really cold air all the way down California right now, causing cold air all the way down San Francisco, Northern California, even Los Angeles. It's getting colder weather because the climate change is happening, causing a lot of. There's a hurricane.
Here comes the story of the hurricane.
There's a possible tropical storm headed towards southern Florida and central Florida on Saturday, June 4th. It's going to bring a lot of rain and wind in Miami, Florida, and all the surrounding areas and things like this.
Seems awfully early this year.
And did you hear about that's going to bring a lot of rain in southern Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, Costa Rica, El Salvador, and Panama. It's going to bring so much rain there because the rainy season there bring a lot of rain in Venezuela and all across South America, Venezuela, northern Brazil, Argentina, northern Brazil, including Colombia, Peru, Bolivia, and Ecuador. There's a cold water off the coast in Ecuador. That's La Nina. They're bringing lots of rain in New Zealand. It's getting colder in New Zealand once again, in Australia and all these places. South Africa is getting cooler too. There's been a lot of rain in southern China, Japan, and all these places. It's a lot of rain in the Philippines and thunderstorms in Thailand and Vietnam and Laos and things like this. And India is going to get a lot of monsoon rain second half of the month. In Gabon, Kenya, Uganda, Congo, Zimbabwe, they're bringing a lot of rain right now. And Nigeria is going to get a lot of rain as well.
This week on the Comedeorological panel, we have our panel of Comedeorologists. We have Imogen Cookie Bailey down there in Victoria, British Columbia, our hard correspondent. We have Pete Galanko, who happens to be down there in Virginia Beach in the good old United States of America. Also in the USA is Brian Schmit from Portland Weather Uncensored.
Many of us have served long Facebook jail sentences.
And then, of course, the stalwart Brandon Houck. Anybody on Brandon Houck from, and we'll talk to him after Frankie, of course. Brandon Houck's had a big celebration week this week with the Brooks Bandits winning the All-Canada National Championships and whatnot.
Congratulations, Brooks Bandits, 2022 Centennial Cup champs from Real Country 105.7.
The blue line by TJ Hughes. 2-on-1. Hughes over to Ryan McAllister, shoots and scores!
Of course, his Canada-wide weather update. Now, does anybody on the panel have questions for Frankie MacDonald?
Tell us about the Pomeranian's friend you were tweeting about.
That's a different
wants
type.
to know.
There's a different type of breed dog and things like this. I took a picture of that, sent it off to the Weather Network.
And those two dogs, there's two dogs there that are friends. So is that what Pomeranian is yours, right?
It's my family's Pomeranian, and a friend is Lola.
Brian Schmit in Portland.
Frankie, I have a question for you. What is the most severe tornado ever in Canada? Where was it?
Somewhere in Saskatchewan and things like that, central Canada.
It was in Ely, Manitoba in 2007. Right. It was an F5.
Great video. I saw a great video documentary on that tornado a few nights ago. Really fascinating how it meandered and clipped those houses.
I would love it if you sent me the link for that. I've seen all the footage I could find on YouTube. A long time ago, I've seen Reed Timmer's.
How's the weather in British Columbia?
That was a weather bomb. We got hail, came down really hard, so much rain, the street is just flooded. That was like 5 minutes. And I don't think the storm's really here. Just kind of caught a flank or something, or the rumblings kind of stopped. Maybe something more will reveal itself in the coming minutes. Maybe the cold air in Wells killed it. Friday afternoon, same day. And now I can see as I get up here, this cell is just one of many that's coming across. I have my handy lightning detector. It's the AM radio, and what it does is it picks up electromagnetic disturbances and things like that, static electricity going off, things like such. So this is just one little cell bubbling up on the edge of many other cells. Ooh, there's some lightning in the distance. A minute ago I heard one that was pretty close, but I think most of the activity is deeper within, and maybe I'll come across it yet. Round two, I mean, we've already had one line of storms come through Wells today, and what's going on is we have like a larger amount of rain and moisture going through, but there's enough heating now. Wow. There's enough heating now that maybe that struck a light telephone pole or something. That it's forcing the rain clouds together and making them taller, and that makes them thunderstorms. So that's what convection does. And there's this guy. Here at Quesnel Regional Airport, we see one little cell that's still coming in that looks kind of unexciting. And then we look north and see the overshooting top of the one that was just here. And so we just missed it on my drive, but Quesnel got it pretty good. It's really rainy here, really wet, everything's wet. Active weather, lots of fun. Maybe this guy will grow up a little and we'll see more action yet today. And we got some thunder rumbling right here in Quesnel. Nothing too exciting, but it's May, so what do you expect? Do you expect exciting? No, I don't expect exciting. I expect 7-Eleven chicken wings. And just like that, the rumbling has ceased in the sky and in my stomach. Thanks to these chicken wings from a 7-Eleven. Active day, nothing too exciting or scary or crazy, but lots of pretty weather. How's the weather in BC? Well, it's 17 degrees here in Wells today. The snowbanks are starting to melt, so that's pretty nice. It's still not exactly warm, and what we're looking at, maybe a couple flashes of warm weather. There's still a lot of snow in the high mountains. That warm weather could bring some flooding, as the story.
Even Vancouver's rainier than normal.
We may not see the wildfire season we're used to seeing in again this year, because looks like a 2019 setup right now. We're getting that Gulf of Alaska weather a lot, and it's rainy and it's cool. It's not very conducive. Frankie MacDonald, what YouTube videos did you make this week, did you say?
Major storm to hit Florida on Saturday, June 4th, 2022.
I got a quick question for Frankie.
Yes.
Frankie, you mentioned that Vancouver is rainier than normal. Now, is that an actual weather system, or is it just the cumulative sadness of the people of Vancouver?
It's supposed to rain for the next few weeks in the Pacific Northwest and Victoria, British Columbia, and things like this in Vancouver because of another cut-off low off the coast of British Columbia as well.
La Nina sort of setup's got us on the wrong side of the jet stream.
Who earns?
So we will come back and talk to everybody on the panel. Thank you very much, Frankie. Please stick around, and of course, maintain your status as a co-host of the show. Ask questions of anybody whenever you want, Frankie, because you're the best. Frankie MacDonald. Now, Brandon Houck.
Yeah, the Calgary Flames ended their sadly last week, but still put up a big fight, so not that bad. And Daryl Sutter just won the Jack Adams Trophy, Coach of the Year. Last couple of hours here, so that's pretty cool. And Whalers are so far losing against the Avalanche, so I'm happy about that.
And I got something to say. Calgary has won the Pacific Championship in the regular season, Pacific Division Championship.
We'll be a pretty strong team next year, that's for sure, after winning quite a few hockey games during the regular season. So that was the Calgary Flames. Now, into the Brooks bit. It's the big.
And next year, Calgary could even win the President's Trophy, first place overall in the regular season.
Well, I sure hope so, and I hope we stick around in the playoffs as we go next year as well. We've had the big championship game. Well, we had a couple games. We won against Quebec there. I was hoping we'd play Summerside on Saturday, but Summerside lost to Quebec there. So we had to play Longueuil again, and we whooped them 11-2 on Saturday. So then we knew right away we were going to the championship game against, guess who? The Pickering Panthers again. And these guys, they're a fighting team, the Pickering team, especially that one guy called Little John, they call him. I don't know where he is, where he's from, but I'd look out for him in the NHL. He's a fighting kind of guy. I think the last game he spent at least 12 minutes in the penalty box, which is not an ideal place to spend, especially during hockey games. Now, he kind of kept his cool during that game, but still, they were up 1-0 after at least 2 periods. So they put on a bit of a fight, and then the Bandits came back in the third period, and we won the championship 4-1. And it was a very exciting day. And I definitely had a few beverages after the game because I was. And then as we went into Tuesday. We had the whole team. The whole team came in. Today we had a big celebration. I was at the parade. I was actually right at the front of the parade too, right there, and the MP there, and then there was me. And so it was pretty exciting stuff. So we did the parade. The parade had the Centennial Cup right behind me on the parade route. It was absolutely incredible, and a lot of people waved at me. I did not know who all of them were, but anyway, thing with parades, you don't know who everybody is on the parade route. So they all know who you are, obviously. So that was the parade route there, and then we got into the Centennial Park there. It's City Hall Park there, and then we did the celebrations, and we had a great time. And then the Bandits went to the baseball game. The Brooks Bombers, they're back in action as well this season. Speaking of baseball, so I think they're doing pretty good. I haven't been to a game yet. I just went to the tailgate party last weekend just before the Bandits game, just to do some radio work there, and then come back and do the Bandits game. So it's been a busy go, absolutely. And the next week it's rodeo week, and that is going to be a hoopla with the mini chucks and pancake breakfasts every day. So yeah, I'm going to have pancakes every day next week, and I'll probably be tired of pancakes after next week.
Brandon Houck down there in Brooks, Alberta. So talk to us about some of the severe weather that happened last week, and let's look ahead for our friends in Winnipeg. Of course, we make the show before everyone hears it. It's not recorded live. It's being recorded on Zoom. It's the 2nd of June right now on Zoom, 2nd of June. And you're going to hear us in Prince George on the 4th. You're going to hear us on the 6th in Winnipeg. So these are not up to date. You can't necessarily look to us for a forecast per se, but we'll give you an idea of where things are going in the long run and where things have been. What are the big weather stories?
So we had Saturday actually had some severe thunderstorms pop up in southern Manitoba, and had a couple of tornado watches get issued. Doesn't look like we had anything touch down, but we had some pretty wild storms moving to northwestern Ontario, producing winds gusting over 110 kilometers an hour. So that was the same. That was the next day. A little bit of wasn't much of a derecho, I wouldn't call it, but it was definitely a fairly strong wind event. We even had some tornado warnings in northwestern Ontario, but no confirmation of any tornadoes coming out of that event as of that I know so far. There were definitely some hail, and I do believe Boissevain, Manitoba, got hit pretty hard with the hail there on Saturday afternoon, or Sunday. Sunday. That was when the Bandits were playing, so I was focused on that. I was multitasking that day, doing the board and watching the storms blow up, and I still nailed the board off too, so it was great.
Fabricated. And yes, it was a great weekend. Wow, great weekend of sports, that's for sure.
So that was Sunday there, and then that system finally moved out, but to still produce some fairly significant rain in the southern Manitoba this week, with the yet another Colorado low that moved up and produced at least up to 60 plus millimeters of rain, some flash flooding. So the flood concern once again still ongoing across southern portions of Manitoba after that Colorado low, and it was still hanging around for the last couple of days, and then finally it's starting to move out now. We're getting into more of a drier trend in the next week, so that is some good news for Manitoba, because they definitely do need a big break from all of that rain and wet weather, and you'll see a nice warming trend in the next week as well. Now, for us in the province of Alberta, we've been dry, and I do believe we're at drought stage here for some folks across southern portions of Alberta, including this area as well, where we've only had about 30 millimeters of precipitation so far this year. So we are lacking significantly on the precipitation side across southern portions of Alberta, and it's actually been pretty nice. It hasn't been too hot. I know last year we tied a record high. This day last year, 32 degrees. So today we're about 22. So I'd say that's actually not so bad to start the year, but still has been relatively dry. We had severe clear today, and it'd be like perfect day to go outside. But we have a change in the weather pattern this weekend for southern Alberta, which is some good news for us, as we get the easterly winds start blowing here, especially starting Saturday. And we have the Pacific system moving in out of British Columbia. So that's going to allow for an upslope flow to set up here. And that will also produce potential for some beneficial rain for southern portions of Alberta Sunday and Monday. and even into Tuesday of next week, with some areas seeing 30 to possibly 50 millimeters of rain. So that is some great news, because we definitely do need the precipitation here in southern Alberta. And while Manitoba gets the break, we're going to take the hit on the kind of I wouldn't say significant, but it's going to be beneficial precipitation for next week. And we'll also get some thunderstorms embedded in that as well. And as we go into next week as well, we'll also still remain unsettled through British Columbia with showers and thunder showers. Like I believe Kamloops had a pretty good thunderstorm a couple of days ago with the hail and the flash flood potential. So we were on the Kelowna and Kamloops stations talking about the potential for severe weather back on, I'd say that would be Tuesday. So that was Tuesday there. Now, as we go into next week, we're going to see our temperatures really start to rise here in southern Alberta by the end of next week. So we may actually see our first 30-degree day, probably Friday or Saturday. And that will also mean the potential for stronger thunderstorms in our future after the rain that we get this weekend. So we'll be watching that very closely. So we'll probably have an update on that for the next show as we lead into late next week.
Well, as we record this, it's currently 7:18 p.m. at night. That's not when you're hearing it, of course, but as we record this, Prince George is having a thunderstorm right now. So the warmest place in BC is up in Fort Nelson, 24 degrees. The warmest place in Canada, in Northern Territory's Dead Men Valley, the place is called. It's 27.8 degrees. It's it's evening time, and you'd expect those temperatures to start coming down. I mean, they get more hours of sun up there, but it's not quite as direct a sun as we're used to getting down here. Certainly, you would think it would be warmer in Kamloops than in Fort Nelson. Prince George, so looking at your next bunch of days, I mean, we're basically seeing a lot of cloudy periods of rain, as Brandon was saying. Some Pacific systems moving in, so mix of sun and cloud perhaps on Saturday with a 40% chance of showers, a high of 20 though, so that's nice. Nighttime 60% chance of showers, a low of 10. Sunday about the same, 60% chance, high at 20 again, showers at night, low 11. Monday, periods of rain, 17, cloudy with 60% chance of showers at night, 9 degrees though, warmer nights, that's nice. We're still getting mix of sun and cloud on Tuesday, high at 23. So some warmer temperatures finally that may, Brandon, increase the risk of flooding in British Columbia, would you not say?
Yeah, so that will be, as we go through the next couple of weeks here, as we see the temperatures rise a bit more, we will start seeing that potential for flooding in the BC interior with the snowpack that still has not melted yet. However, the projection for the next week still keeps BC on the cool side, so you might have to wait a couple more weeks, because it looks like Alberta is going to steal all that heat instead of BC, so we'll keep an eye on that pattern. So it looks like we're probably still hanging about mid-teens, low 20s in southern BC, so that's not too bad, but looks like the bulk of the heat's going to stay south and east for now, but that pattern will change as we go into the foreseeable future.
At Groundhog Lake here up in Wells, which is where the snowmobilers go and stay and party, drink, do whatever. It's a public cabin, essentially, right? There's still 8-9 feet of snow up there. I mean, that's what I heard a couple days back. I'm sure it's come down some. But when you think about how much physical land the high mountains take up, they take up a lot of space because of the steepness of them. So It's not like when you're the amount of square footage between a given point in the prairie is, probably smaller. Like if you went 10 kilometers by way of Crow in the mountains, you're going to go up and down and you're going to have a lot more land. So we have a lot of land that's covered in a lot of big snow still. And just because you're not seeing it down lower in BC doesn't mean that there's still not significant amount of melting. It's quite late this year. Anything else, Brandon? Anyone have questions for Brandon?
Brandon, can you elaborate on what the Colorado low is? Did it originate in Colorado, or is that just a regional term that you used?
All right, so yeah, the Colorado low does originate out of Colorado. So kind of like the Alberta Clipper. So it originates out of Alberta and it sweeps across the country during the fall and winter months. And the Colorado low originates out of Colorado, low pressure that develops in Colorado, and then it moves on up from, sometimes it usually goes to the east and to the eastern half of the country, and sometimes, and the typical track over the last this year for particular has been taking it right into Manitoba. So
Brian Schmit, you had a wonderful, lovely day down in Portland. unseasonably warm, would you say, or?
Well, you know, at this point in the year here, our normal high is about 23 Celsius. So it was around 28 today. We've had much like British Columbia, a lag in our nice weather. The Portland area and Oregon to the south to Eugene has seen record rainfall the last 2 months. About 30 centimeters of rain has fallen in 60 days in the lowlands, and up to 250 centimeters on Mount Hood. So the rivers are running really high right now. All the reservoirs are full, and we're definitely out of the drought. We were in drought for a couple years, and now it's been fully alleviated by this very wet 2 months. But it's been a little bit annoying having all this rain so late here. Last year, as you mentioned, we'd already seen temperatures around 35 Celsius here by the 2nd of June, and today was the first time we broke 27. So it's been very cool, and Portland's only had 3 clear days in 97 days. So it's pretty cloudy. Yeah, and then another thing was I want to mention that today was the 3rd day in a row that in southern Alaska and in the Panhandle, it's been in the close 25 to 30 Celsius, and temperatures were as high as 31 Celsius yesterday in parts of the Panhandle of Alaska. And I wanted to say that I've really enjoyed watching Brandon Houck on his live stream on Facebook. He does his radio weather forecast on Facebook, and even though I don't live in Canada, I love hearing about the weather patterns up there. It's a very exciting place to live on the high plains of Manitoba and Saskatchewan. They get a lot of exciting weather up there.
Oh, well, thank you. Yes, wait until storm season gets going here. That's when it gets really exciting, when I'm on for 3 hours straight tracking a tornado. That's when it gets.
And talking about this weekend, the incoming system is supposed to produce almost a month's worth of rainfall in Portland over the weekend. We're looking at about 4 or 5 centimeters of rainfall over a 48-hour period. And I'm sure that a lot of that will affect southern British Columbia and maybe southern Manitoba with a little more rainfall.
When it gets to storm season for Brandon, every half hour that the storm develops, his voice actually gets higher in pitch. It's quite something.
Oh, yeah.
I like it when he walks through the studio and then goes out the back door and goes, "Look what we got out here." It's just, it's like reality TV when you're watching him on there. It's great.
So first he starts kind of like this, but then half an hour goes by and the storm starts developing, and then he's like, "Oh, da, 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 da." And then, as like he gets outside, and like, "Oh, da, 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 da," and then he gets outside and the storm's really developing, and "Ah, da, 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 da," and like every
Did
half
you hear
hour,
about that over in Russia? Computer microchip only goes up to 25 megahertz maximum in Russia now.
Is that so?
Taiwan has restricted Russia, and Russia now could go up to 25 megahertz maximum.
Now, why is that, Pete Galanko down there in Virginia Beach?
I don't know. I was going to ask Frankie. I don't know. You're saying the computer chip processing speed is limited
in Russia because of Taiwan restricted Russia, and over in Russia, the computer microchip in a computer chip is 25 megahertz maximum.
Oh, so is that like a sanction sort of thing where they can't buy above 25 megahertz?
Yeah.
So what does that put them at, like the 90s?
I know gigahash is megahertz, but I don't know exactly what that translates to compared to your average computer processor. I just got done. I'm finished to sell the last of the monitors that I had that were 512 mega hashes or megahertz MH/H/s. So that's megahertz. So 25, yeah, that's low. But it depends on what algorithm, the type of computer processor it is. There's script, there's ASIC ones, and GPUs, and I don't know. So, but Taiwan isn't selling them to them. They will probably be buying them from China, because I'm pretty sure that China and Russia's relations are better than Taiwan's and Russia, because my friend in Ukraine was telling me about how they have a lot of solidarity with the Taiwanese people because the Taiwanese people are adamant about their independence as the Ukrainians are. So, but that's interesting though, because China has a lot of influence over Taiwan, that Taiwan unilaterally imposed that. So that is, they're like quasi, like their relation with mainland China. So that's pretty interesting, actually, that they made that decision, because Russia still may be able to get those other manufacturers from China to make similar chips, but the fact that Taiwan did that, and
we have to think this will affect the quality of Russian pornos.
Perhaps, yeah. They're already blocked by a lot of U.S. websites and that sort of thing. They can always use a VPN to bypass that, but they had to lower their safety standards for their car production in Russia because the sanctions limit which parts they can get and that sort of thing. So a lot of stuff in Russia is scaled back.
So the Brian's on one coast, he's on the west coast, you're over there on the east coast of the United States. How has been your weather? And of course, you're not going to see this hurricane possible that's developing in Alex, but
it's going to miss Carolina. It's only going to hit Florida. It's going to miss the rest of the east coast of the United States altogether.
Is the fact that it's even happening, though, something that people are talking about?
It's a possible tropical storm heading towards Florida, then it's going to completely miss the east coast of the United States altogether.
So my question for you, Pete, is the early start to storm season, even though it's going to miss you, is this something that people in Virginia are talking about?
Not really. Us getting hit directly by tropical storms sometimes. Once in a while, every like 5 years or so, a hurricane will make it up here and still be a category where it's significant. But a lot of the times when it gets this far north, they usually fizzle out by the time they get here. So it's not exactly, people don't talk about it too much, though. What it's happening, though, I can tell you the weather's been very hot the past few days. I just got out of my car last 2 times today. Earlier today, I turned on my car before the AC powered on, and I was already sweating like a fool within like 30 seconds of getting in there. The seats are all hot, the black leather seats, so they're hot in the sun, and it's a black car too, absorbs heat easier. So whoo, it's been a hot one. Take a drive, you're sweating. So we're getting some hot weather lately, which is good beach weather, good swimming weather, all that.
You're tuned into the Comedeorological Report here on CFR 88.7 FM, CKUW 95.9 FM in Prince George and Winnipeg. I'm Joey Onley. There's still one person on the panel we haven't talked to yet, Imogen Cookie Bailey. This week you're at a boxing match. Tell us the story of that.
Crap weather aside, cloudy, a little bit drizzly, kind of miserable, a little chilly, general holiday paradise island that it is. Prepping for the weigh-ins for Champ Promotions Back on Track tournament. Here's our flyer. I am one of the sponsors. That is me on the back there, Venerate Supplements, one of the sponsors prepping for the weigh-ins. Let's run inside and take a looky-loo. There we go. Rings all set up. We've got our stuff in order. Weigh-ins will be happening any moment. In just a couple hours, the tournament will be starting. We are going to be, Shaw TV is going to be here. They're going to be streaming that on Shaw TV tonight, whatever channel they're on, depending on what region you're in. It's also going to be streamed live on YouTube as well. So hope y'all tune in. Back on Track boxing tournaments put on by Champ Promotions. One of many sponsors, Venerate Supplements. We're on intermission right now from the tournament. It is a packed house, sold out. I gotta say the weather inside is a little bit damp, a little bit spattery, because that's just what happens. There has been a lot of spatter everywhere, so the weather inside's foggy, damp and
Yes, sir. I was just having a puff. 7 minute, well, half an hour ago now. As of 7 o'clock tonight, voting for the group finals of the Ms. Health and Fitness competition has closed. I was in third place at the time of the voting closing. It's going to take them a couple of days to verify that all of the votes have come from real people. One of the things that most people don't know is that there are voting services. And when a competition like this starts, every one of us who's in it, we get inundated with these creepy dudes demanding payment to guarantee a win in the competition. And a lot of them are actually like voting farms or like social media farms. So, or it's run by bots. So you can actually purchase blocks of votes, which is really shady. However, the competition host knows what to look for, and anyone using these gets disqualified. So in the final stretch, there's a huge push for this. So whatever ranking any of us has is irrelevant. We don't know. It takes 2 days to verify that the votes are real, and then they're going to announce who goes forward to the remainder of the competition. So yeah, I'm curious what's going to happen. It's going to take a couple of days for that one. The boxing tournament was absolutely fantastic. It was so good to see live competition again. It's been 2 years since a tournament has happened around here. Even like the UFC tournaments or any of the large matches, those were all done in an empty arena. Very few people there. There would be like cardboard cutouts in the backgrounds of stuff, like football games, stuff like that. Empty arena. So being able to flood back into a place and watch dudes punch each other in the face, it is awesome. It was so much fun. I have been processing imagery like a fiend for the last couple of days. So many good shots. And I just love violent sports. And added coolness, my supplements were one of the sponsors. Check it out. That's my ad on the back of the flyer. I exist.
Nice.
Hey, Imogen, what's the weather in Victoria lately?
It is cloudy, sunny, slightly rainy, occasionally drizzly, then just generally damp, then sunny again. Then it's cloudy and hot, muggy, disgusting. That was just today. We may have gotten a little sprinkling of like frost or hail, and then it was like stupidly hot. I don't get it, but that's the weather here. The weather inside the venue, which was actually an abandoned rail yard, was where it was hosted, which just gives added cool factor. I'm just saying, it's turned into a venue, but it's an abandoned rail yard. There's railway tracks, there's the big turnaround, like the Lazy Susan for the train cars. That's all in there. Overgrown with weeds. Used to be a really shady area, but it's all been like cleaned up and whatnot. Right across from a skate park, so there's kids on skateboards wiping out and busting their faces open while there's dudes in an abandoned rail yard busting each other's faces open. Coolest event.
Is it okay that you're talking about Fight Club?
It is okay because I'm there as a witness. I'm there to witness the facial destruction. No missing teeth. I didn't get hit. Spatter was surprisingly light. It's boxing, so you don't get as spattery. But yeah, I didn't get sprayed with anything this time. Gotta say, that's almost like getting a trophy. As a photographer, when you're doing an event like that, it's like getting a little award. It was awesome.
And did you hear that they closed a lot of Western fast food places down in Russia?
They closed the what now?
Closed a lot of Western culture fast food places in Russia.
Okay, being cut off from McDonald's isn't a bad thing. I'm just saying, preferences being preferences, it's...
We're doing them a favor.
Maybe it's my inner commie talking to say, you know...
This just in, Russians are going to live longer.
Let's see. The United States has got 38% obesity, the highest in the world.
Yeah, let's make the
I'm
Russians
an avid
healthier.
user of the McDonald's app. I collect my points. I get my daily deals. I earn my free cheeseburgers. You get 1 point for every penny spent. And I'm still mourning over the closure of the beachfront one, although there's one right over there on Short Drive. So I'll be moving out of here soon.
Here's another news for you. Russia's coming up with their own kind of fast food places.
They should have like a burger sanction against Americans.
You know what? The thing that I think would really get global attention was if Russians really protested, got together, protested, and their mantra would have to be bring back the McRib. It's the battle cry of the McDonald's minions.
I mean,
the battle cry is the snack wrap. The McRib comes back. It always comes back. The snack wrap is what the diehard McDonald's fans. If you look at their Twitter page, every tweet, there's people with accounts just for advocating to bring back the snack wrap. That's what the people want.
I love that you're
like maybe we could make a deal. We'll make a deal. Like, listen, Americans, if you know you're sanctioned to one Big Mac a week until you can get school shootings down.
I don't have kids. I'm not in school anymore. I'll have my unlimited McDonald's.
Nothing else is working. We have to go after your fast food. Meanwhile, Russians are getting healthier, and we're calling that a sanction. We should sanction them to only Big Macs.
Russians have also one of the highest alcoholic rates in the world, and I wouldn't say that they're necessarily the healthiest population.
They're certainly not the happiest.
Yeah, they are. They don't smile much there, and the average person is like the lower middle class here would be considered like wealthy there compared to their income. Not wealthy compared to the oligarchs, but most of the people living off of like $200 a month out there in Russia, something like that. $200-$300 a month.
Frankie MacDonald, what's the weather like in Russia this week?
It's really hot in Siberia lately, causing a lot of forest fires in Siberia, burning a lot of trees there right now. Over in Egypt, they're causing so much sandstorms. Libya is causing so much sandstorms. Algeria, Morocco, Chad, Sudan, and Mali, and Sahara Desert. They're causing so much sandstorms in Alexandria, Egypt, Cairo, Egypt, Gaza, Egypt, and all these places in Israel, Jordan, Lebanon, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Iraq, Syria, causing so much sandstorms lately. Because it's that time of the year, causing so much sandstorms in Egypt and northern Africa and Sahara Desert, driving all the dry, dusty air off the northwest coast of Africa, driving all the way to the Caribbean.
Well, some of that dust circles the planet.
And it suppresses tropical activity.
That is true.
Frankie, you know the song Sandstorm?
Sandstorm, that's a different kind of song.
I don't know how it goes.
And they had a large hail and canyons earlier in the week.
Yeah, they did. There was even sort of washouts and localized flash flooding, because it seemed like the cells just sort of sat there and bubbled up on Tuesday. That was
one of the research stations in Antarctica. Wind is 160 kilometers per hour. Temperature was -8 to -5 degrees. As daytime high in one of the Antarctic research stations. That's strange weather for this time of the year. It's supposed to be winter there, not summer.
So basically, warmer weather is making for stronger winds. There's a bigger clash, right?
Antarctica has 24-hour darkness right now. This is their winter. Up in the Arctic, 24-hour daylight in the Arctic. That's our summer. Right now, it's their winter in Antarctica. Meteorological winter in Antarctica.
160 mile per hour winds is crazy. I was reading the other day in 2018, I was considering moving to the American Virgin Islands, St. Thomas, and I was looking into it. They have one fully fledged hospital on the island that was largely destroyed in 2018 by a hurricane with 180 mile per hour winds. And after I read that, I was like, nice place to visit. I'm not going to decide not to move there.
It doesn't matter where you move, you'll never get your virginity back.
When I was 12 years old, I went to St. Thomas when I was 12, and I was offered marijuana by a man with a donkey.
That is awesome.
I couldn't get it because I was 12 years old and I was with my parents. But liquor was extremely cheap there. My dad loaded up. Anyways, is Canada, how is the wheat prices and the fuel prices in Canada?
The food prices going up in the States and any other countries in the world, Canada, UK, Europe, Russia, Japan. Food prices even going up in Russia, China, and all these places. Every country in the world shows fuel prices. What's going to happen next winter since the fuel prices going up? What's going to happen next winter? How are people going to keep themselves warm next winter?
We're already above $2 a liter in northern British Columbia.
Wow. So I saw that in Los Angeles, it was one station was $2.13 a liter. So that's about a little over $8 a gallon, $8 per gallon for US dollars. So yeah, it's I like to ride the bike. Well, I live close to the store here, so I'm 1 kilometer, less than a kilometer from the supermarket.
That's insane. That's insane.
Hey, Joey, what
Food
about
prices around here? Not too bad.
What's going to
DC was
happen?
higher. The McDonald's prices I noticed are different in DC than there are here. With the app, I can get 20 McNuggets for $5 and a large Coca-Cola $6. 20 nuggets and a Coke. And their deal was like $4 something for 10 McNuggets.
What do you think about a strategy of using bombers to drop chicken McNuggets on the Russians?
That means that they be happy.
That is right, Frankie.
And did you hear about that? I got something to say. What's going to happen to oil? What's going to happen this winter coming up? How are people going to keep themselves warm because of high oil prices?
As always, poor people are going to suffer.
When don't poor people suffer? I'm just saying.
When they're sleeping, sometimes, if they're not dreaming.
Yeah.
It's going to be a
quite story next winter.
The rest of this year is going to be, it's not going to be good economically for a lot of people globally.
Yeah.
No one wants to talk about it. They're like, it's not happening. Boy, I'm paying a lot for gas.
What
The
about
system's
Christmas
collapsing.
shopping?
No, it's not.
What about Christmas shopping later this year? The gas price is going to affect Christmas shopping, kids getting gifts and things like this.
Yep, and the all the stuff that we import, like supply chain costs since COVID started, from sea freight to land freight, that raises the cost of all goods, and then the fuel prices going up is another factor. That exactly, Frankie, is going to hurt the bounty of a Christmas cheer with the presents.
Speaking of cheer, we got Joe Stover back from the Winnipeg Gold Eyes baseball game. Joe Stover, what was the score? What happened in the game tonight?
Joe's mute.
Oh, there we go. Thank you, Frankie. Thank you, Frankie. Oh,
I'm a hero.
You,
Yeah, you are.
yeah, of course you are, Frankie, my man. Yeah, the Gold Eyes pulled it out. They won 6-4 was the final, or 7-4 rather was the final, on a very chilly, relatively chilly evening. But it did get a little bit warmer as the night went on. The clouds are starting to disperse, and even though that it's the sunset, it's actually a lot nicer than it was. So anyway, yeah, Gold Eyes win.
Once this winter coming up, how's people going to keep themselves warm because of high fuel prices this winter coming?
They'll have to blow on their hands.
It's going to be tough, and it's especially going to be tough for people in Poland with their natural gas cut off and all sorts of. It's going to be a bad winter if things don't get better.
Joe Stover, how has inflation affect the popcorn costs at the Winnipeg Gold Eyes games?
You know what? It's gone up. It's absolutely gone up. I think popcorn last season, if I recall, was about $4 a box, and now it's about $5 a box. And the ticket prices have gone up, and it's everything. Everything's gone up, and it's with inflation, and
how are people going to afford popcorn?
I don't know, Frankie. How are people supposed to afford popcorn?
That means that they have to cut back driving. That's one. And did you hear about that? They have to save money. That's another. That means it's going to be a tight winter next winter because oil price is going to be up. That's going to affect Christmas gifts for kids this year.
Hopefully Brandon doesn't choke on popcorn here.
Hopefully I don't choke on popcorn here.
The price of the bobblehead's going to have to go up, Frankie?
What about Christmas this year coming up? That's going to affect Christmas shopping when the parents get their kids gifts for Christmas. High oil prices going to affect them too.
What if
afford a Big Mac?
What if people want to buy their kids and friends and husbands and spouses stuff from the Frankie store? Like, I hope those prices don't go up.
FrankieStore.ca.
FrankieStore.ca. Thank you. I hope not. So yeah, what did I miss today, Joey? You guys have a good chat today? What's going on?
We've had a very good chat. So good. I mean, Brandon Houck, he's been talking about the Brooks Bandits and how they just had their huge celebration for winning the Canadian National Championships there. And then we had you, of course, talking about from the baseball game. So we had sports really covered today. That's good. Sports crowd likes that kind of thing on the show. Then we had Brian Schmit down there in Portland Weather Uncensored, Portland, Oregon, talking about how they finally had an unseasonably warm day, although last year they'd had many by this time. And they're looking to break some rainfall records, or at least be very soggy into this weekend and the next week. Here in British Columbia, weather's not been that warm. The big warmth is in the northern part of Canada. Imogen's talked about boxing this week and talked about hopefully she's going to pass to the next level or the next round of Ms. Health and Fitness magazines. And get on the cover page. And then Frankie's been Frankie. And who did I miss? Pete Galanko.
Imogen, once this winter coming up, that means how the people will keep themselves warm because of high oil prices this winter coming.
Say what now?
This winter coming is going to be a high oil prices even in this winter coming.
Yes, 100%. Oil prices will continue to rise. We don't exactly get much respite or relief from oil, fuel, anything that we turned a dinosaur into. We're constantly getting raked over the coals on that stuff. It will continue to get worse because life on this planet sucks. However, I'm still going to hop in my little go-kart of a car and drive around like a maniac when I can.
This Christmas is going to be so bad that basically we'll be giving Happy Meals to the kids. You get your Christmas dinner and your toy together. It's a great deal.
What are gas prices like in BC right now?
Too high.
A
liter?
The gas station, I drive a European car, and I kind of have to put the higher grade stuff in it, so it's $2.49 a liter where I am.
Hey, what about this winter coming? It's going to be a high oil prices this winter coming. How do people going to keep this house warm? How do you keep the house warm in the winter? It's due to high oil prices.
Well, I have firewood, but it costs me gasoline to go get it.
Well, I think that if people normally set their thermostats at, like, say, I don't know, 20 degrees or something, I think maybe they'll just have to turn it down to 15 degrees and just invest in a nice hoodie to keep you warm in the house.
Well, the problem is a lot of working class people are already doing that, Joe. One of the things I always thought was funny was people in the city would be like, hey, it must be awful how cold it is up there all the time. And I'd be sitting in their place in Vancouver just freezing damp. It'd be like 8 degrees in their house. They can't afford heat because the rent's so expensive as it is already. And I'm saying to them, like, well, listen, like, yeah, it's cold outside, but I got a wood stove and it's cooking hot in my place. And it's
that means they would have to raise taxes. That's another thing because of school field trips and things like this. That's why the provincial taxpayers pay for schools in each province.
So just average people, people at the bottom working menial jobs, musicians, artists, people who are between work, people with disabilities, they're already living that way. They're already putting a hoodie on. They've already got the thermostat down to 12.
One of the things when I was a kid, my family was extremely poor. Like there was, it was pretty bad. I'm not going to go into details because no one cares about that, but it was really bad.
I care.
I don't want your care, but
too bad.
But
I care.
There were a lot of times where we did not have heat in the house at all. So one of the things that I learned was just a lot of different ways of working around that. Well, not that there's a lot, but one of the things that I still do is I have strategically placed candles in my house because a little candle actually gives off a fair amount of warmth. Strategically placed candles, and then just like controlling the environment, keeping doors closed. If you're keep your bedroom doors closed, so it'll be cold, but you've only got a little bit of heat, and you can warm a room to something a lot more bearable just with little, set up candles. Turn your lights off, set up candles, watch TV that way. whatever.
Well, you're not.
That I
That
still
gets
did,
two
but-
birds stoned at once because people aren't going to be able to afford electricity soon either. So we're coming to basically the end of the show.
How's the job market up in Canada? Are places hiring a lot?
Yeah, I mean, not me, but yeah, they're hiring people.
There are
Actually, I got great plans for next summer, especially. But my fire season may be. I mean, the weather's not
What's
conducive
going?
to.
And in Paris 2024, that's the next Summer Olympics. That's high fuel prices. They might even affect Paris 2024 Summer Olympics and in Italy 2026 Winter Olympics.
Well, the price of gold will be going up too, and then that means price of metals will be going up as well. Frankie MacDonald, how does everyone find you on the internets?
My Twitter is at Frankie McD. My Facebook is Frankie Down. My Instagram is Frankie MacD984. My Facebook public figure page is Frank Down with a blue check mark. My TikTok is Frankie MacDonald 984. My Clapper is Frank Down 984. My Twitch is Frank Down 984. My Snapchat is Frankie MacDon. And my LinkedIn is Frankie MacDonald. And my YouTube channel is Dogs and Wolves and the FrankieStore.ca.
I'm Joey Onley, your host. Comedeorological report. Comedy plus meteorology equals Comedeorology. If you want to see the video version with our beautiful faces and also the video clips of the things you heard this week on the show, please go to my YouTube channel, Joey Onley, the Caribou Weather Dude. Hit subscribe. Help me out. You know, that'd be awesome. Thank you very much, Frankie MacDonald. You're beautiful. Love your stuff. Imogen, Cookie Bailey down in Victoria, thank you. Brandon Houck over in Brooks, Alberta from 105.7 FM, the Brooks Bandits production guy, the radio morning man in Brooks, Alberta. Thank you. Joe Stover up in, he's in Winnipeg this week. Thank you. Brian Schmit down in Portland. Thank you. Pete Galanko down in thank you. That's everything for this week. My name is Joey. I already said that, so I think I'm running out of things to say.
Best of luck to you. I'm Frankie Down. You're listening to the Comedian Meteorological Report and Joey Only.
Tonight's forecast, we've got storms way out west, and that probably means you're all gonna die. You're all gonna die. You're all gonna die. You're all gonna die. You're all gonna die.
Hopefully I don't choke on popcorn here.
Many of us have served long Facebook jail sentences.
You're all gonna die. You're all gonna die.
Many of us have served long Facebook jail sentences.
For the polar play dead, no. Polar bears eat dead things.
You're all gonna die. You're all gonna die.
Eat dead things. Eat dead things.
Oh my God, in Japan.
You're all gonna die.
Eat dead things. Eat dead things.
And I got something else to say.
Would you say that they're breeding like rabbits?
I would say both literally and figuratively. I think you can say
Honk.
That's my kind of goose.